LEDs don't get their color from their plastic covers, and you can see that because here is a transparent LED that also glows the same red color. The color of the light comes from the electronics themselves. The casing just helps us tell different LEDs apart. In 1962, General Electric engineer Nick Holonyak created the first visible LED. It glowed a faint red. A few years after that, engineers at Monsanto created a green LED. But for decades, all we had were those two colors. So LEDs could only be used in things like indicators, calculators, and watches. If only we could make blue, then we could mix red, green, and blue to make white, and every other color, unlocking LEDs for every type of lighting in the world, from light bulbs to phones to computers to TVs to billboards. But blue was almost impossible to make. Throughout the 1960s, every big electronics company in the world, from IBM to GE to Bell Labs, raced to create the blue LED. They knew it would be worth billions. Despite the efforts of thousands of researchers, nothing worked. 10 years after Holonyak's original LED turned into 20, then 30, and the hope of ever using LEDs for light faded away. According to a director at Monsanto, these won't ever replace the kitchen light. They'd only be used in appliances, car dashboards, and stereo sets to see if the stereo was on. This might still be true today, if not for one engineer who defied the entire industry and made 3 radical breakthroughs to create the world's first blue LED. Shuji Nakamura was a researcher at a small Japanese chemical company named Nishia. They had recently expanded into the production of semiconductors to be used in the manufacture of red and green LEDs. But by the late 1980s, the semiconductor division was on its last legs. They were competing against far more established companies in a crowded market, and they were losing. Tensions started to run high. Younger employees begged Nakamura to create new products, while senior workers called his research a waste of money. And at Nishia, money was in short supply. Nakamura's lab mainly consisted of machinery he had scavenged and welded together himself. Phosphorus leaks in his lab created so many explosions that his co-workers had stopped checking in on him. By 1988, Nakamura's supervisors were so disillusioned with his research that they told him to quit. So it was out of desperation that he brought a radical proposal to the company's founder and president, Nobuo Ogawa. The elusive blue LED that the likes of Sony, Toshiba, and Panasonic had all failed at. What if Nishia could be the one to create it? After suffering loss after loss on their semiconductors for more than a decade, Ogawa took a gamble. He devoted 500 million yen, or $3 million, likely around 15% of the company's annual profit, to Nakamura's Moonshot project.